G'day, legends. Welcome back to Roadside, presented by Zwift. Welcome back to our fortnightly news show, keeping you guys up to date with all of the news and racing results in between the major races that will be kicking off soon. Our co-host, our great man, Tommy McCracken, is in Japan. Tommy, konnichiwa, mido sutarongu buru-san.
You have just pulled the Google Translate, the Meta AI Translate straight out of that, haven't you? That's great. I pay that in spades.
You know what I mean?
I'm going well. No, I don't. I got absolutely. I'm clueless. It's hello. How are you? How have you been?
No, it's hello, Mr. Mid-Strength.
Oh, yes. I'll grin and bear that. I'll grin and bear that. Now, mate,
How's
I'm
it
over
going
here.
there, mate?
Good, mate. Over here in Tokyo, a little bit of time off before the year sort of kicks into gear. We sort of, I don't know about you, but fell over the line into the Aussie Summer of Cycling. Went down to Cadell's. I think as I was driving out of Geelong back to Melbourne, I just thought, fuck, get me out of Geelong. Could not get out of the place fast enough. But no, I'm going well, mate, over here. Heading up to the slopes tomorrow, a little bit of ski action. Hopefully miss the sting in the tail. That is the Perth summer. How about yourself, mate? We actually haven't, much contrary belief, we actually don't speak that much outside of the pod.
Well, not when we're on holiday, but yeah, that's exactly right. No, back to the day job for me. Back to the day job, just, grinding it out and, putting the training in as well. Just getting the training on the bicycle. I'm getting stronger and I'm just, testing out a few different training methods, Tommy. So I'm diving deep. Masters this weekend as well. So I'm looking forward to
Masters. What, championships?
Well, no, just your standard Sunday Masters, mate. Nothing special.
Well, I heard the Masters because I'm a Masters now. I turned 30 this year. And I know exactly. Can't wait to race you. I heard, have they separated the elites? They've got like Masters, like elite, and then Masters A grade or something like that.
Can you Mate, they'll do anything to get people racing. And yes, they have added in WA the elite Masters category. Give me a spell. That's all I will say. But we've got a lot to talk about, lots of news, lots of results to get into today, guys. So make sure you follow us on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcast. Thanks for those who've rated us as well. I've seen those ratings. Thank you, legends. Continue to do so. Let's get this episode. Lots to discuss. This is Roadside, presented by Zwift. The FE Sports Roadside news and results. Can't say it again. Just get yourself some Magine TPU tubes. They are a game changer when you take them out on the bike. They're lightweight, they're supple. Not only are you saving grams, but you're also just getting the better rolling resistance as well on your tyres, thanks to Magine FE Sports. Jayco, Tommy.
They are the best, aren't they? Just on that note as well, because over at TDU Adelaide, I was just petrified of being stranded, double punctures, nightmare scenario. You can carry 3 in one little saddlebag. They roll out so small and compact. The Magine tubes, absolutely love them. So we do use them. We don't just pump them up. We do actually we do use them.
Yeah. Look at my hat. I've got the Pirelli tyres hat as well.
Oh, you do too?
Just to go with.
I left mine in the Hilton still. It's probably still rolling around at the bottom of the Hilton in the media room.
No respect. Now, first results off the cab that were interesting. Jayco, they destroyed at the Muscat Classic with Plapp and Schmidt. They took first place with Schmidt, third place with Plapp. Adam Yates was in the sandwich, coming second, the silver medal. I have to say I didn't actually know anything about the Muscat Classic up until this weekend, but I saw the last kilometre of this race and they played this beautifully, just playing the older Plapp attack. Adam Yates had to close and Schmidt took the win, but it came, Tom, with a lot of UCI points this race.
Yeah, it certainly does. It just shows you that there's so much on offer at not World Tour level at the moment, particularly this time of the year. You had a bit of racing throughout the Middle East. We've got Tour of Oman on that is going at the moment. So it shows you that while you've got riders in form, you've got to just keep sending them to races. And it shows as well, even if you've got one rider who thinks that they can get a top 10 at these pro races, you've got to send them. You just got to send them. So, yeah, it was good by Jayco. I think it sort of bridges the gap maybe between sort of the points that they needed after sort of a pretty strong Aussie summer, wasn't it, for them at the end of the day?
It was. They just needed the big victory. So I think this comes really it came at the right time as well, particularly off the back of a few podcasts that were really lashing Jayco as well. So, well timed. You could see the lads were really, really happy. They gained 390 UCI points between Plapp and Schmidt's first and third place. Now, just to give you guys an idea, a stage win at the Tour Down Under is worth 60 points. Oman, it's 25 points. So if they'd won Strade Bianche, that would give you 400 points. So essentially, they've just won Strade Bianche worth of points. So it's an actual real good example of sending the right riders to the right races if you want to play that points game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll talk on it a little bit later. So you put it in the notes in the show. But yeah, the point system is just skewed. The Women's World Tour, the show rolled on for them. Weibes, she wins the first 3 stages of UAE. She absolutely blitzed everybody. And the overall was taken out by Elisa Longo Borghini. If you're Weibes, I think I saw a quote, and I forget who it was, but it was like, the only way to beat her is to drop her before the sprint. She is unbelievable. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. She won the first 3 stages, I reckon, by a combined length of like 15 bike lengths. She won that easily. Her speed, the overhead views of her in those final 200 meters sprinting, she is like 3 leagues ahead of everyone else. Consoni and Gillespie were second place, and Backstead as well were up there, but they're just not in the same stratosphere as Weibes. And I'm just having a quick look. She now has, at 26 years of age, 121 professional victories and 70 World Tour wins. That is huge for Weibes. And she dominated. And then on the other side, Longo Borghini, who we kind of missed the best shape of Longo Borghini last year, who did go to another level because she was injured. I think she had a couple of concussions. So we never got to see her at the best for the whole season. But she showed it today on the Jabal Hafid climbing stage of UAE Tour, the final stage, where she piped everyone she piped Kim LaCourte, Niwadomi Fimi, Fisher Black by over a minute.
Yeah, she did. Good ride as well by Monica Trinica Colonel as well for Liverpool to Jayco. So that's a good find by Liverpool to Jayco. That's a good result, mate. Second on a World Tour stage race like that. Mate, that's a cracking ride to sneak in there by 1 point ahead of Femke across at Team Visma. Did you watch much of the UAE Tour?
No, it's actually on at a good time. I was just busy. I caught the last kilometre or 2 of the sprints. I definitely watched those, but I didn't catch the Jabal Hafid stage. Kind of disappointed about that. But it is on at good time. This Middle Eastern racing is actually on pretty nice for Perth time, let alone Australia.
Yeah, it is like Tour Oman at the moment. It's on right now. There's 35 Ks left to go. I'm here in Tokyo. I'm looking at that thinking, I could probably watch a little bit of this. My partner is sitting on the other side of the room going, absolutely fucking not. We're going out to dinner because we're in Tokyo, you absolute numpty. On the other side of the world, mate, how good cycling. Egan Bernal, he takes the Colombian road race title. This was a brilliant race. He's the first Colombian to go back-to-back since Sergio Henao, I think in 2018, 2017. So a bit of a step forward for young Egan, or not young anymore, is he? The Tour de France winner. He sort of slowly clawing his way back to the form that we grew up with seeing him in.
Yeah, but it's nice to see. I mean, last year, I had a look at his season last year, and obviously he was coming back from that hectic crash that almost really took his life and his cycling career away from him. But last year, we kind of saw close to the best of Bernal that we remember. He got 7th in the Giro and GC. He finished that race, obviously. He then completed the Vuelta as well. So 2 Grand Tours in one season, showing the body is there. And also, he won a stage at the Vuelta and some nice top 10s at the end of the year with the Italian Classics. So Egan, actually, he's had a pretty good last 10 months, I would say. For Ineos and Egan, Tommy, what's a par for him this year?
Oh, you want him to be at least in the top. It might be a little bit too much to ask a top 5 for, say, like a Giro on the GC. That might just be a little bit out of his reach at the moment. But if he's top 10, I think that's a pretty safe bet. He's a good enough rider if he wants to make the decision. He could go target stages, I think, at the shoulder Grand Tours. I think the Tour de France, could you see him winning again at the Tour de France? Not the overall, but stages?
Maybe not a stage at the Tour, but a stage at the Giro potentially. I'd actually like to see him working for Onley. I think he would set up nicely for Onley as a really nice helper. So I hope we get to see him in that way.
I wonder if he will. I wonder if he has that sort of that for the entirety of his career. He's always been the leader. I wonder if he has the tenacity to sort of make that mental switch and go, "Oh no, I'm helping. I'm a domestique now in this role."
Yeah, that'd be tough. I actually think Egan Bernal, like Ben O'Connor, is a really, really good one-day racer, and Bernal's done very, very well in one-day events. I hope we get to see him at Strade because he's done very well there. But yeah, maybe a stage win again in a Grand Tour would be a par for Egan. What about Remco's start to the year, Tommy? He has had a blinder so far with Red Bull, and he's made a statement early.
Yeah, they certainly have. They've gone hard. Red Bull, the big PR machine, it's clicked into gear off the road, and now it's clicked into gear on the road. Remco, he won the first of the 3 Spanish sort of one-day races down in Mallorca. They also, one of those races was a team time trial. So it was interesting. One of those races they put on down there in Mallorca, they put on the Triple T because we know the first stage of the Tour de France this year is going to be a Triple T. So a lot of races just trying to pepper that in to try and get the big names. They did well. They got Remco down there. And then he bit of a statement down at Volta a Valencia. He got the better of Almeida, Yorman, and Pellizzari, who was in the top 10 for the Giro Vuelta last year, I believe. So it is a bit of a statement, isn't it, mate? But if he didn't win this, there'd be some questions, wouldn't there?
Yeah.
If he goes to races and he doesn't win and Pog's not there, you're right to, I think, have the firm question of, like, why did you not win?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He's in the 3rd tier, isn't he, behind the Jonas and then the Pog tiers. So, yeah, if he's there and he doesn't win, yeah, you would be asking questions. And that still comes with you still got to do that on the day, and he's done it. So, good start for him. He'll need that. He's a confidence man, and there's been a lot of interviews that he's done just at races after the stages, and there just seems to be this overarching sort of tone about Red Bull that the difference in equipment, professionalism, and everything compared to Quick Step is night and day. So that's probably going to be really good come Grand Tour time for the big Belgian.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you reckon of Almeida? What do you make of Almeida off the back of this? He's finished 30 seconds down in Valencia. His big goal we know now is to go to the Giro. What do you make of that? That's 30 seconds. That's a big gap for someone who is really putting their hand up to try and win a Grand Tour. He's a rider who, I reckon, be honest, he got polished by Jonas last year at the Vuelta. Just Jonas came in piss pot form, sort of still put him to the sword. I look at that and I'm like, man, that's a 30-second gap.
It's February. I don't think Almeida. He wouldn't wipe his ass with the prizes he'd get for second place at the Volta Valenciana. No one cares us. So I think Almeida.
You say no one cares. It was a stacked start list.
Yeah,
you had Tabiri, he's been on 5th, Sheffield, Turner.
Yeah, they have to race. It's their job.
Yeah, but if you're not where you want to be in February, you're chasing form. You certainly are building, but it's fascinating. You hear more and more now from a lot of the pros how important the off season has become. You're no longer just all of a sudden, there's an expectation to win from the start of the year or be challenging from winning for the start of the year. And I'm just looking at this in isolation with Almeida, who, I would love to see him take a step up into that ranks with, say, Jonas and Remco. That would just be awesome at a Grand Tour level.
Well, he also needs to be the main man of the team to do that. And just looking at last year, Tommy, this time last year at Volta Valenciana, he was also second at this race and second to Buitrago. So second to Remco, a little bit better this year. So I'd say he's on track for his form as to last year. Question about Remco is, can he this season, do you reckon he can go up to his He's currently sitting, I think it's all safe to say, in the Grand Tour tiers. Pog is number 1 on his own. Jonas is number 2 on his own. Number 3, you would probably say at this time, it is Remco on his own in the 3rd tier. Can he go up to that Jonas tier this year? Do you reckon that's possible?
I struggle to see how him going to Red Bull, how does that make him a better climber? That's my question mark.
But what about age? He's only 26, so I wouldn't say that it's peak yet.
Yeah, potentially. You know how Pog's ruined the whole landscape of where a traditional peak in cycling is. He's corrupted the whole field, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know, mate. I look at the way that Remco, going Red Bull, yes, he might find margins, tiny little margin that he gets better, but he's not going to magically pull back another minute on Pog on these big mountain climbs, is he?
No, but what about Jonas? Could he get closer to Jonas? I'm not saying he's getting near Pog.
I think he could get closer to Jonas, yes. Which is concerning for the Grand Tour landscape, in my opinion, because then that makes it Jonas might start thinking a hell of a lot more about being second in a Grand Tour and defending second and trying to upset Pog for the victory rather, because he knows that he can just shit all over everybody else and he can tie up second if he has a bad day.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Let us know down. Well, I think there's more. I think Remco has more room for improvement than Jonas does. I don't think Jonas has seen his peak. I don't think we've seen Remco's yet, and you just never know with this guy. You never know. He's an enigma. I think he can enter that tier, but some things do have to go right. Now, you mentioned Tour of Oman is on at the moment. You know, for Australians, it's actually quite nice because it is on right now, which is around dinner time, 6 o'clock for us here, 7 o'clock for time in Japan. I did have a good look at the second stage. It's stage 3 today. The second stage, I just scrolled to the bottom of stage 2, which is just a standard sprint stage, boring. And the whole Oman national team was at the bottom, about 20 minutes behind. And I had a good look. They're actually, after 2 stages, the Oman national team, the poor guys, they're 45 minutes back on the team's class.
That's hard.
It's tough. It is tough for those guys. They always get sorted out there in the crossies. But let's hope today, because it's a bit of a mountain stage. Let's hope they stay.
You say it's a mountain stage. They're just finishing on East Mountain. It's 3.4 kilometers at 8%. And the break's got 45 seconds. Our man, though, the plow, he's in the break. How about that one? Don't mind saying that.
He's very, very fit. Yeah. So let's hope they don't lose any more time because they need. I wonder if the national team can even be cut. Can they be DNF'd if they miss time cut?
Oh, mate, I reckon you speak about how dodgy some of the federations are and how dodgy the Middle Eastern money is. Oh, that could quickly just be swept under the rug, wouldn't it? It'd be like that year at the Baby Giro where we just saw all these teams holding onto the cars as they went over the Stelvio on the Queen stage. You just a little bit of a toe back in.
Those are all the Italian teams doing that.
If the plough wins this stage, does that mean we get to finally reveal that story of him at TDU?
Yes, and I'll tell another story that I was reminded of a couple of years ago that he told me. It's a bloody cracker. It revolves losing a bike it revolves a stream crossing. Now, Society, they dropped a new kit today, the Hypermesh 2.0, the bibs and jersey, very nice looking kit. It's sort of a summer kit with 3 different types of mesh fabrics in the jersey to keep you guys cool during the hot days. Jersey and bibs, less than $250 with the code Roadside15. So use Roadside15. You get free shipping as well, $250. Like, seriously, get into that gear. Society, looking after you all with cycling apparel like no other. Ben O'Connor, Tommy. Ben O'Connor, I think he said this in our podcast with him earlier in the summer, so go check that pod out or watch it on YouTube.
He alluded to this. He alluded
podcast.
to it.
He alluded, that's right, but I'm not sure if the press officer said we could talk about it. But it's out now. He did the Cycling News junket. Ben O'Connor confirms Giro D'Italia GC as main focus in 2026. He's been 4th before, Tommy. He's looking at the podium this year. Can he do it?
Yeah, the big block. He's going to go to the Giro and wants another podium at a Grand Tour. I think he's well positioned for a title, to put his hand into the mix. To win it against someone like Jonas and Almeida, that would take something else entirely. Those two riders, I think, at another level. Although it is interesting.
Who else is confirmed going?
So Derek G, he will go. Jai's going. Pellizzari, he will race as well from Red Bull.
Hindley.
Beyond, Jai.
Jonas and Almeida.
Yep. That is kind of the what I would say they're the big names at the moment that will be on the start line, on the start list. I'm trying to see if there is any sort of generic provisional sort of announcement. Well, Simon Yates, obviously, he was set to go, but he won't be there either.
Those names are confirmed. I think those are the biggest names that are going. Jonas, Yao, Derek G. West, and Carapaz and Hindley. That makes it a really nice GC competition as it is with those names so far, because I think the Giro this year is heavily backloaded in the Dolomites on the third week. So I think that suits Ben O'Connor. He loves those hard, big kilojoule stages in the third week in the mountains. So, I mean, he is definitely a shot at going on that third step of the podium. That's probably he's got to be his goal. But, what do you think? Is it really possible, or should he just go in there and focus on stages, or have a bit more of an eye to stages rather than GC?
Nah, he definitely goes for GC, in my opinion. Absolutely goes. The Giro route suits him pretty well, particularly considering the time trial that's in it. I'm a fan of what he's trying to do, particularly. I think he understands, yet we know the Tour de France, the level is just so different, isn't it? It's just cut above. To go there and to try and get a GC result is just immense. You need a lot of luck. I find it fascinating for him to do this, and then I'm hearing that he will do he's confirmed he's going to do the Tour de France, isn't he? So he's going to do the Giro Tour double this year. I'm pretty sure it'll just be going for stages at the Tour de France. And the more I'm sort of getting an understanding is that they'll sort of try and look to target that first stage at the Tour de France with some TT specialists. But
I think they're all in on that.
Yeah, I think they are. The more you look at their list, the more it makes sense. For O'Connor, though, it'll be interesting to see who he gets paired up with. Like, for example, Red Bull, Jai will have a lot of support. He'll have Vlasov, Pellizzari. They'll probably be co-leaders. Hindley and Pellizzari, and then Vlasov for support, who's going pretty well himself. Just a quick look. I'm seeing Michael Storer on a provisional for it as well. That would be interesting. And of course, Jay Vine, I think, will go to the Giro if he sort of shapes up as well. That's a bit of speculation. And another man we've sort of left off is Enric Mas, who we've just seen a report that he's quality. He's been, top 10. Maybe he's top 10 at Grand Tours, and he's good enough to pull it. No, he is. He would struggle to win a Grand Tour, yes, don't get me wrong, but he's always in the mix. He's always around there, particularly at the Vuelta. Loves just sweeping up the breadcrumbs at the Vuelta. So where do you think's a pass mark for a lot of these GC riders going to the Giro?
Well, let's talk about Ben. I think a pass mark for him is a stage. I think, no doubt. He's probably licking his licks on the Queen stage as well towards the end of the race. I think a stage is good. I think, maybe a stage and ultimately if he wins a stage, he's probably finishing somewhere between 8th and 13th on GC. If he does well on GC, he can definitely take third, but he has to get everything right. We saw in 2024 when he came second at the Vuelta, 4th in the Giro, he can get it right. And I'm sure after last year's 11th place at the Tour and a DNF at the Vuelta, I'm sure he's motivated to, just go, hey, I can put 3 weeks together. So that'll be motivating for him for sure.
Yeah, very motivated, very motivated. Spoke pretty candidly about wanting to just be in the mix in that third week. I think it's something that GC riders that's all they want. It's like being in the mix in a golf tournament on the last day. You just want to give yourself the chance, don't you? And I think we've heard a lot as well from Jai Hindley through sort of the off-season of being back in the mix at the Vuelta, wasn't he? He was 4th there, and he to be back after that massive crash at the Giro. He's going to be loving that as well. So it's going to be a really interesting Giro. There's going to be a really strong Australian presence there once again, which I'm super excited about. Jonas has to win this Giro, though, doesn't he?
He does, and we'll do a deep dive on the Giro as well when we get closer to that. On speaking of Grand Tours, it was a lot of news surrounding the wild card for the tour that were announced with Car Oral and Totals getting those last 2 wild card spots. Everybody was thinking the Unibet Rockets were going to get that wild card. They must have thought they were getting that bloody wild card. They signed Victor Lafay, they signed Dylan Groenewegen, they changed their UCI license to French from the Dutch nation they were. They're still a Dutch team though, and in the end, the tour said, "Fuck you, we're going to give it to Car Oral, who absolutely suck." If Unibet Rockets, if they had 0 riders, Car Oral are they're like a Conti Club team racing Elite Masters, the Crit Fondo. That's a terrible nomination.
As someone who's just got no skin in the game with the Unibet Rockets or Car, I absolutely just love this from ASO. I just think it's so funny. We're on the sidelines just eating popcorn because Christian Prudhomme has just come out and just said, "This is a load of bullshit. You're a Dutch team. You've changed your license. You've signed a Dutch sprinter. You've signed one French rider who was on the verge of retiring. You're not a French team. I'm going to absolutely flick you and pick Car." So, look, I don't mind it as well. Car, I couldn't tell you a single rider on their list except for Fernando Gaviria. So, yeah, exactly. But I also don't. Yeah, precisely. I don't know. Look, mate, they've been around for so many years as a Conti team, as a pro Conti team, as a pro series team now. I don't mind them getting a chance to race at the Tour de France. Obviously, there was the shuffle of all the teams to get a gig at the Giro and then La Vuelta as well. So for them to end up going to the Tour de France, I actually don't mind it. I have no qualms with it. I think it's brilliant from the ASO. Only as a spectator, I do think it is a missed opportunity, though, as well.
It is, and the Unibet Rockets are doing a great thing with all their marketing, and this is the beauty of marketing. They are making their team look bigger and better than what it actually is. Make no mistake, their team sucks. The Unibet Rockets suck. Their team is shit. Dylan Groenewegen, okay, he may have a little bit left in smaller races, and Lucas Kabis, the Czech rider, he's a good example of sending an okay rider to average races and cleaning up. But ultimately, their team is just a Conti roll. It's just a big old Conti roll with a lot of filling, not actually any substance. So, I'm with you, Tommy. I don't actually care. Both teams are going to finish last anyway on most stages. And, I would have liked to see what the marketing would have been for the Rockets. And I actually think part of the reasoning why the Unibet Rockets did not get picked for that wildcard spot is I think the Tour de France and ASO are scared of the views and the behemoth of the marketing circus that would be around the Unibet Rockets. The content they would generate could overshadow the content the actual Tour de France page could generate. So maybe they're just trying to slice some of the, the competing content from during this race.
Well, they're not going to be too worried about Car, are they? They'll probably send the one press office. They do.
Let me see how many followers this average team has. I mean, they did.
I love Caja. I love the Spanish teams, mate. They are good.
You love Spain, mate. Yeah. Carl,
look. You're not far off. You're not far off with Unibet. Also, at the end of the day, like someone's got to be one of those teams that just sort of animates the race. But hasn't the level of Pro Series or Pro Conti, as we've known it for so many years, just risen? You've seen the cream of the crop. Tudor, they come in. They were signing big names. They were signing names who were going, I want to go there because it's well run. It's a highly put together operation. I want to go to Uno X. Uno X, it's a good enough team. Now they're World Tour. That was a surprise for them. So I dare say Tudor, though, they've really set the bar with these Pro Series teams. So no longer are these guys just going into races being the sort of the total energy bygone era of just in the dead breakaway and getting the TV time. They're going in being like, we want to, roll a top 10 or we want to try and win the stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think UOX as well, also part of that real professional outfit, and kind of also showing you really still have to have quite a lot of money to compete, even at the top of the Pro Conti level. Now, speaking of the UCI points, Michael Matthews did one of the first ever sit-down interviews I reckon he's ever done. He did it with the Roadman cycling podcast, which I've never listened to it, but I know the guy uses a lot of AI in his Twitter or LinkedIn questions. Kind of pisses me off, but somehow
wasn't Bling in your DMs the other day, mate?
He did comment on the reel about him going to TDU for 2027, and he actually commented saying, "I'll be there in 2027." So there you go.
They're coming down.
His algorithm, mate, is being fed Roadside just in his grill. Who's this unit with a Pirelli hat? Just telling me where I should go. Well, guess what? It's fucking right. And about every other cycling podcast all jumped on the train as well. Just saying that anyway. Now, he said the UCI point system is killing cycling. He hates it. He thinks it just creates, teams racing against each other. So riders racing against each other, trying to get the most points in their team to maybe secure better starts. It doesn't encourage racing for the win. It encourages racing for placements because you're trying to get points, and like the Muscat Classic, trying to clean up points there with 4 top 10s as opposed to going for the win. And Michael Matthews is all about winning, all about the Palmares. And it's interesting. It just goes to show the UCI point system, Tom, is it's hot or cold. You either like it or you don't.
Yeah, and a lot of the riders, they don't like it. A lot of them don't. But in saying that, there are parts of the peloton who do like it because they've been able to carve out a career or create longevity in their career because they are people who can get points and accrue points, which has sort of kept them in a job. It's kept other people out of a job because you might just be riding on the front. You got to say, though, the sponsors, mate, they do want year-round TV exposure, don't you? And you got to talk about sort of the system and how or maybe the whole business model as a whole is also affected the point system. You're not an overall fan of it?
Oh no, I know where Michael Matthews is coming from. He's coming from a rider's point of view, which is ultimately a selfish point of view. He doesn't, he just wants the whole team, and this is where it comes back to that reel I made last week. This is the whole thing. He doesn't want to go to shit races to race for points. I said that last week in the reel. It is 100% true. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to win races that'll add to his palmarès. But there's a bit of conflict, I think, in the team because they obviously want him to go to these smaller races and try and clean up points. But he's not interested in points. He's interested in big victories. And, I think that's just a bit of old school, new school clashing with the rules. We need the point system because it does create, competitive racing all year round, not just at the tour. It forces good lineups of riders to go to your Polands, your Omans, your Lulas. Sponsors, they run this sport and they want their jersey on show, not just at the tour, but at a Lula on.
How do you balance the level of prestige with trying to grow, obviously, the calendar? So, end of the day, Tour de France, it's the same as obviously, stage 18 of the Vuelta. Stage 18 is stage 18. But obviously, we know the Tour de France is worth more. So there does need to be an imbalance somewhere created through the calendar in terms of what is more valuable, say the pinnacle of the sport. They also need to get the balancing right between one-day races to stage races. So as it stands at the moment and how, a lot of teams didn't like it the last year, that the one-day races are worth way more points. This is how XDS has started to balance their whole season to get back into the sort of the relegation and get to escape relegation, is that they went after one-day races. So their whole system was to target one-day races and to roll top 10s. And that's what they did. So a one-day race is worth a hell of a lot more than just a simple stage victory or an overall even at a stage race. It's wrong. And stage races should be more pride.
Yeah, that's right. It is there to be exploited, yet teams are still getting it wrong. And just one more point on Matthews. I did a bit of a deep dive and listened to a Belgian podcast, which I got translated for me, actually, with some apps. Dries de Bont, he's racing for Jayco this year. The strong Belgian, he's won a stage of the Giro back in the day. He's a big horse. And he actually said in this podcast that they were talking about what his role would be in Jayco, what do you think he really got recruited for? And he said that after they lost Jens Kukelaer from Jayco, he was really their only Belgian in the team. And he was so critical for those Belgian classics for his teammates because he all the Belgians, they live and breathe those roads that are in the classics, your E3, your Flanders. They know where the red door is. They know where the left turn is. They know where you've got to be here, to be there in the finale. And he said that in Jayco, there's a little bit of tension with Matthews in particular for the classics because they know that he has what it takes to fight Pog and Van der Poel in those finales if they get it right. But his positioning and the team's positioning has been a problem in the classics. And it's, like we never see Matthews in a sprint finish, a proper sprint finish. He doesn't like it. So they've hired Dries de Bont to be there for the classics that Matthews is doing and guide him into those positions that ultimately set the finale up. So just goes to show, I think Matthews is going to have an interesting season and maybe a bit more successful in the classics where he's never really shown at all.
No, he's showing. He's showing. He's
not in the early season classics. No, look at his results. He has not. The Cobble Classics I'm talking, he has not shown in those ever. Stinker.
Yeah. He's always sort of been the first man over in the second group, hasn't he? So
exactly.
Whether that's a case of, just having to, he's got the legs on the climb, but like you're saying with the position. Yeah, mate, let's watch this space. I think it'll be interesting. Jayco, they will build around him in the classics. I'd like to see that. They've got an okay team, an outfit there of O'Brien, Durbridge with the experience. You bring in another veteran, Dries de Bont. It's not bad. It's good. It's a good signing, isn't it? I really liked that signing at de Bont.
Smart. They've got Matthews. They just need to get him there at the finale, and he can get on the podium at some of these races. Now, Lance Armstrong, he is a classic. Classic what? It's really up to you. But this time, back in the news because he has given Hollywood his rights, his life rights to create a new movie that's going to be made all about Lance Armstrong and his whole career. And basically, imagine this. The film, it's big money. It's a big budget film. The production or the producer has set an ambition that's quite lofty, and it will combine, this is their words, elements of the F1 movie, Raging Bull, which is a great Martin Scorsese film, and Wolf of Wall Street. And it will cover the life and career of Armstrong, capturing the highs and the lows of his career. So those three movies are cult classics that showed both the best and the worst of people, particularly Wolf of Wall Street, and F1 was a deep dive into the sport with a little bit of characters in there as well. Would you watch this, Tommy, when it comes out? It's going to be a huge budget film. Would you watch it, mate? And do you care?
No, I don't really care, to be honest, but a part of me is intrigued. A part of me also feels like I need to watch it just to know the lay of the land with it. Look, I've read Hamilton's book about during that period, and it just sounded like everything was just miserable. So I think I would, mate. I reckon I would watch it. I don't know if I would want to pay money to watch it. I reckon I'd be straight onto the torrent, and I'd find a little stream of it somewhere. But I think I would. I might have it on sort of 1.5 speed, but I reckon I would. Why would you pay? Would you buy a ticket? Cheap after Tuesdays. Down you go.
I'm a big movie buff. You referenced The Secret Race from Tyler Hamilton. That book, that's got to be one of the greatest books, and most explosive books ever written. Like in its time, it was obviously written before we were kind of right in cycling, but to write that book and the stuff that was in it is hectic. I would prefer if they did a movie about that because that was. Well,
that's what this will be.
I hope so.
That's what Lance was like, and that's what. Maybe this is Lance coming full circle, just going full hippie after now he's done his pod and he's the sit downs with Lance and Wiggins and Ulrich at his
the gyms, the naked gym sessions, aren't they? They're all having like these sweaty naked gym sessions on the rest day of the tour. Like, you see those videos? They're all sweating up in the gym wearing no clothes. It was very strange. Now, Now back to the question. I would watch it only if it was truly 100% representation of that.
But you
era.
don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know going into that. You're only going to read some review of some cycling journalist who's written about it and is, you what do you do? Do you go in blindfolded?
Well, no. I definitely want to watch it, but I want to see the true CUNT times of Lance Armstrong. I want to see him being a dog during that time because he's so hungry, will do anything to win. That character or that life that he was then, and whether it is that now, who knows? But I want to see that because that is some crazy dude who will do anything to win and not stop at anything. And that as a theme is very, very interesting, let alone the fact that it happened in real life. But let us know, guys, will you watch this film when it comes out? It's going to be a blockbuster. I think they've signed the bloke who played Elvis in the Elvis movie. I didn't watch that, but he's a big actor. Can't remember his name. Yeah, interesting times, Tommy. Now we're almost running out of time, so we're gonna play pick and stick, Tommy, which is a great segment that I've ripped off before we go. So you've got to choose one or the other. Okay, I've got a theme for you, and you can play along if you're listening as well. Who, Tommy, in 2026? Who in 2026 will win more Grand Tour stages? I've got 10 pairs of riders for you to choose from, and we'll put the music on. Who will win more Grand Tour stages in 2026? Sam Welsford, Olav Koy.
Olav Koy.
Michael Matthews or Mads Pedersen?
Mads Pedersen.
Really? With the no wrist, no collarbone?
Oh, don't worry about it. He'll bounce back, mate. He's got that dog in him. Yeah.
Caden Grooves, our man, or Jasper Philipsen?
Oh. Jasper.
Ben O'Connor, Carlos Rodriguez.
Oh, I'll go Bocker. I'll back him.
Jai
Carlos
Hindley?
can stink it up.
Jai Hindley or Juan No Turns Ayuso?
Oh, I think Ayuso. I mean, he has a tenacity to win stages.
Luke Platt or Tom Pidcock?
Pidcock.
Ben Healy, Timon Aronsman.
Healy.
Back to Caden Grooves versus Biniam Gourmet.
Grooves. Go on the Grooves all day long. I reckon you send him to the Vuelta and he just mops up.
Jay Vine, Remco Evenepoel.
Remco's always good for a TT win, isn't he? So you think he goes to the Tour, he wins the TT there. Would he win the TTT? Wait, who was it against?
Jay
Remco or Vine? I think Vine just ends up crashing somewhere during the mid-year again, and then he ends up going to the Vuelta and just winning 3 stages of the Vuelta.
And finally, Chris Harper or Nelson Powless.
Harper's, yeah, oh mate. Yeah, no, I want to see Harper unleashed a little bit. Won the Queen stage at the Giro last year. He is a quality rider. Now, Pinarello Q36.5, I want to see him unleashed.
I have to say I like their kit. Q36.5 actually looks quite clean. Quite clean indeed. Now, to wrap up,
That's good.
Before we
Very
go,
well put together, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Before we go, UAE Tour is next Monday. So we'll be back next Monday to do a bit of a preview of the race, the sprinters, and then also the 2 big climbing stages. We'll get a look at who's looking really nice on the climbs. And then we've got Omlep Het Nieuwsblad starting on the 28th of Feb, which we will dive into a classics preview as well, Tommy. But you've got a few more weeks in Japan, mate, so I hope you enjoy.
Yeah, mate, I will. I need to get my head out of the bottom of the Kirani glass. But, get over to the slopes, be on the power, and hopefully miss the tail end of the Aussie summer.